At RenderDraw, we believe data is only as powerful as the way it's presented. Today, we're unveiling something new, something visual, something transformative. Introducing RenderDraw Interactive Maps. It started with a simple observation. Most of our interactions do not start with a part or a product. They arrive there. They start with a place, and from there, they expand. Across warehouses, across cities, across the world. Because when you can see the whole picture, you can make better decisions, faster. We took a look at what was available and saw a large gap as to what our customers and most users wanted to kick off these interactions. Today's options for mapping inside Salesforce are limited. Salesforce Maps? It's priced for enterprise and built for field service. The Lightning Map component requires custom code and has zero flexibility for admins. That's where we come in. RenderDraw Interactive Maps sits right in the middle, no code required, powerful, flexible, and built for scale. Interactive maps can start from any object custom, standard, or feature-driven. Let's dive in and take a look. With RenderDraw Interactive Maps, Salesforce admins can create reusable templates. Templates can connect directly to any object, like accounts, shipments, assets, or opportunities. Add a name, relate it to an object, or even a specific record. Each template is customizable, flexible, and instantly deployable across your org. No developers needed, just clicks. Let's build out the template. Interactive maps are built off the premise that there are going to be several elements for each given map template that should be displayed that represent Salesforce data at any given interaction. We call these layers add a level of insight and provide users an at-a-glance understanding of what your source of truth, Salesforce, has going on under the hood. Plot records on the map. Using live Salesforce data. An admin defines as many layers as they'd like for a given map template using our dynamic query interface, easily add conditions, and utilize record templates for a different map for each detail page, or define literal values for a dashboard, like interaction that is generalized based off of database elements. Once the query is defined, we have to determine what type of visual will be represented by the data you selected. We're going to start with points of interest. Point of interest, as the name implies, is meant to indicate a location, a destination, or a data element that can be represented on a map. Based on the data query, we are looking up elements that have location fields like latitude and longitude, multi-part address fields, or text areas that have address information inside of them. Behind the scenes, we use this information and identify where on the map these markers should be placed. Speaking of markers, we've given admins the ability to choose a Salesforce icon to represent the point of interest, or upload their own image to represent the data as they see fit. A preview of this is displayed whenever an icon or an image is selected. From here, we dive a bit deeper and inquire which field specifically represents the underlying data that was selected. Considering a lot of these objects might have more than one address field, we need to know specifically which field will represent this marker. You can dive through relationships, even several layers deep, to find the appropriate field that contains your address information. Once we know what we're going to map, we need to know what you want to do with it once we plot the information. Now, these are completely optional, but provide quite a bit of value and interactivity when it comes to navigating the underlying data. You'll see two interaction types for a given point of interest: hover interaction and click interaction. Hovering provides a layer of discoverability. Oftentimes, you don't want to navigate into records only to go back to where you were, but see a glimpse of what is there in order to determine whether or not you want to dive deeper, similar to our 2D canvas and 3D canvas. Hover over a location and instantly see compact layout details from Salesforce. This means an admin can not only define the map, but also what fields are displayed when a user interacts with them, click interactions, or we want to navigate or show specific information that is completely customizable. Click to launch flows, open pop-ups, or dive deeper. Once complete, simply save the layer. We'll automatically find the address information and the coordinates for the map, and then adjust the map sizing to ensure all of your data points are displayed at any given time. Now, this is valuable unto itself, but let's take this step further. Locations alone don't provide enough value to justify this much product development work. Let's connect the dots by adding another layer and basing the data query on another type of point interest. We can clarify by the condition, set a different icon to differentiate for a user looking at a glance, and even give it different interactions than the original point of interest. The level of customization is insane. Now we have a map that has two record types mapped to it based on dynamic data query that will occur when the map is presented to the user. Let's take this a bit further. We can even connect the dots with data movement paths. Shipments from A to B, tracked visually and interactively. Simply add an additional layer, run the query for what object would connect these to then select connecting lines. We can format the color of the line at dashes, and even add an icon that represents the underlying object that would come back during this interaction. Now what you would see here is binding to a dynamic record ID, and this is going to come to play a little bit later when we add this to an underlying record. Page will use that record ID to base the underlying query off of. We can do this for points of interest as well, but a highly compelling demo is understanding where materials are moving and where they're coming and going. We can set actions for the connections as well, and once we're finished, we simply push save. Now we won't see those connections initially because there's no record ID being passed in here. We're defining a data template. Let's take a look at another feature for now. Legends can also be quickly added in position wherever you'd like, with the icons indicating what type of data layer represents. Additionally, we can add custom regions based off of drawings. In this case, we'll add a region that represents a record, but you can also add regions that are based off of any geometry, and you can add as many as you'd like. This would be great for setting up sales territories, and at a glance being able to hover and see how the territories are doing, or sectioning off pieces of a map that are related to a given object or record inside of Salesforce. You'll see we can also customize the actions once drawn, so we can even launch record details or lightning flows on a click or hover. Hover to view roll-up metrics. Click to act. It's dashboarding, reimagined, and spatially aware. Once a template is created, adding it to a record page is simple. Just open the Lightning App Builder, drag the RenderDraw Interactive Map onto the page, type the template name, and you're done. Your map is now live, dynamic, and tied to your Salesforce data. Let's take a look and see what this data looks like based off of its mapping. Interactive maps unlock powerful use cases across industries, visualize global data centers and their connectivity, map field rep visits for retail execution, explore real estate holdings from region to rooftop, track insurance claims, utility sites, shipment routes. If your Salesforce org touches a location, you can map it. So what makes RenderDraw Interactive Maps different? It's no code. It's admin-configurable. It supports dynamic queries, drawing tools, legends, and map-based flows. It's fully native to Salesforce and lightning fast. And this is just the beginning. RenderDraw Interactive Maps is available now and is included at our Data Tools license tier, ready to transform how your users explore data. From dashboards to details, from records to reality.